Hi again. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today I'm going to be doing the second half of my what sold video, which will be for last weekend, November 25th through the 27th. And sales are still moving right along. For me, historically, like next week is going to probably be when things start slowing down. People are going to realize they're either done with their Christmas shopping, or if they order stuff online, it might not arrive in time. But for us, that's usually a good time for us to start, replenishing supplies that we need, spend some money before the end of the year and plan a little mini vacation, which is what we've done the last couple of years. And then just start hitting some more of the death piles. Those never go away. So that's the plan. But I thought, I'm going to put this in my Facebook group, but I thought another thing that we could talk about and make your comments for me in answering this question. What did you do well this year? And what do you want to change for next year? And for me, what I did well this year was I listed a ton. I probably listed more than I've ever listed before. And I think that's a great feat, considering we're also trying to do these videos and, life and Robert's homeschooling and I think I did very well in that part. And then what I want to change for next year, I got to get more stuff cross-listed. I have got to. It's just, I think I could have done better if I had more in the other platforms, if I had more stuff cross-listed. So that's what I'm planning on working for next year. I might add Depop. We signed up for Depop, but we haven't done anything with it yet. So I might start doing a little on Depop just to see how it goes. Because I just think the more platforms you're on, the more eyes you're going to have on your stuff, the more potential for sales. But if you're new to my channel, I've been doing this 23 years. Most of it has been full-time. I stopped for a little while to go back into teaching when my kids were little, but I still was reselling. And then I stopped again for a little while and went and worked for the state. Realized I did not enjoy that very much and went back to full-time reselling. So let's go ahead. I've got lots to share with you. Again, I haven't been cross-listing, so I didn't make a whole lot of sales on the other platforms. Again, I had some good ones on Etsy, but for the most part, no. But I had amazing sales on eBay. All right, we're going to start with Etsy. I only had a single sale on there. It was this Russ Kissy Love Bugs plush. When you pulled them apart, they did that little vibrate and they came back together. It sold for $11. Poshmark, sold some jeans. All of my clothing is cross-listed to Poshmark. And then how I divide up the rest of it is a lot of my lower dollar eBay items I cross-list to Mercari. And then if it's like $15 or more, I also try to cross-list to Poshmark, and then Etsy is all my vintage stuff. So these Nautica women's jeans sold for $11. I'm trying to push clothes right now. We haven't been listing a whole lot. We're going to get back into it, but most of this stuff we started listing last year, and I'm just trying to get through a lot of the clothing, and then we can continue on. These were Dickies men's jeans. They did not have any tags in them. And so what we normally do is I'll just say no tags, no size tags, no material tags, and then we just put the measurements. And I've not had any issues with returns, because I think at that point somebody is going to go check a pair of clothes that they have to make sure they think it'll fit. These Dickies jeans sold for $13. This is Disney Lilo and Stitch plush. It sold for $13. And then my two Etsy sales. Etsy, I only have been putting a lot of my high dollar vintage toys on there. But next year I'm going to try to get some more that are like in the $20 and up. Right now I had just been going through and picking vintage high dollar stuff. This was an Applause Honker hand puppet. When you squeezed his nose, he honked It was from 1994. It sold for $47.45. And then this had actually been hiding behind this thing over here. I picked up 3 different ones of these at a yard sale for $3 each. This was the last one. It had gotten buried under clothes, and I pulled it out and listed it on eBay, and then cross-listed it using List Perfectly onto Etsy, and it sold very quickly for $59.95. So definitely, this is like the boy version of Easy Bake Ovens. You could make bugs and stuff like that, but it was from 2001. All right, and then eBay. Lots on eBay. Now, again, if you're new to my channel, I don't do free shipping, so when I say something sold for this amount, it does not include the shipping that the buyer also paid. This is a Hasbro Softies Baby Mickey Mouse from 1984. It sold for $15. The buyer had sent me a message also saying that this was like a childhood toy that his wife had, and he was going to gift her it for Christmas. So that's what this is all about, is finding these older plush and getting them listed, because it's nostalgia. And this time of year, lots of nostalgia is bought. Lego minifigures. I took 3 days to list a ton of them that we picked up at the Savers in Cincinnati, and selling them like crazy. This is Captain America. He sold for $12.50. This is Holy Bears. I pick them up on occasion. A lot of times they have like religious themes to them. This was a Jake Hess bear from 2005. I think he was a televangelist or something like that, but his picture was attached to it there. He had that curly hair like what's on this bear. Thought it was hilarious. Normally I list them for like in my bread and butter range, 8 to 12, but I did list this one higher, and it sold for $26.95. This was Lionel the Polar Express. I picked I think I got these at the bins, and I only found like 2 pieces of the train, so I listed them separately, and then I just sold the track parts in one lot. These sold for $17.95. I had these from last Christmas. I just didn't know how I was going to pack them, and finally I realized how I was going to do it based on, I think somebody posted in my Facebook group that how they had shipped them. Easy peasy. I just wrapped them in the small bubble wrap and took a priority box. I think it's the 16-inch box, one of the tins, and then just kind of slid it in there and taped the sides down and mailed it as a flat, kind of sort of flat parcel. This was 18 inches. Sometimes they're called plastic popcorn. It sold for $20.66, but it took me forever to list them. Baby Aurora Loveys. I pick up all Loveys. Some are bread and butter, some sell for more. This one sold for best offer of $20. Gons Blossom Bunny Rabbit, 16-inch. I took a best offer of $10 for this. A lot of times when I list stuff, you know, I'm pretty much a list it and forget it, other than I do every month do the end and sell similar. But I don't normally adjust prices or anything. So when I get an offer that seems low, I take that opportunity to go look on eBay and see what's happening with that item at that point. When I went and looked, $10 seemed reasonable, so I went ahead and accepted it. Subway Petey Pickle pullback car. I picked this up at the 100-mile yard sale last year. I paid $1 for it, and it sold for $26.95. Okie dokie. This was a gray hippo. Pretty sure I picked up several different animals in this line, this series, at the Goodwill in a town near us. Probably paid 99 cents each for them. This one sold for $10. Picolinos Men's sandals. Robert picked these up recently. I don't remember where. We probably paid a couple of dollars for them. Very nice condition. I took a best offer of $39 for them. This Stuffins, I've talked about them quite often. Right now, this is the time of year that I tend to sell a bunch of them. I suspect the entire collection at the Goodwill bins in Nashville when we went. I think it was in March earlier this year. I listed all of them individually. I like to do that. Some of them are going to be bread and butter like this, but a few of them did sell for quite a bit of money. But this helps people fill in collections of ones that they don't have. This one was from 1998. It was Sam the Snowman from the Island of Misfit Toys. And when this person left me feedback, she said it was the last one she needed to complete her collection. Again, this is why I do it. Gund, Kohl's, Cares. This is a white rabbit. I think it said Easter, spring. I sell tons of Kohl's this time of year. So I picked them up. A lot of them are going to be bread and butter like this one. I took a best offer on it for $10. Chaps Performance men's flannel shirt. Took a best offer of $10. Most of these we might have 50 cents or $1 in them. Lennox Season's Greeting tree ornament. I pick up tons of Christmas ornaments. A lot of times they're $1 or less. And this time of year I sell practically almost all of them. This one sold for $8. M&M Green Micro Bead Plush. This is one of those plush that has like the teeny tiny little foam balls in it. Very cute. I think almost all of the M&M's plush that I have came from the online estate sale I purchased last year through HiBid. I'm selling quite a few of M&M's right now. Must be just another thing during the season, brings out nostalgia in people. This one sold for $8.96. Goffa. It's an okay brand. I don't pick up a whole lot of it, but this was unique. It was purple. It was a hand puppet. So I did decide to get it. It sold for $12.95. And the fact that it sold for full asking price means it sold right after I had done an end and sell similar. I notice when I do that, a lot of times they end up on my watch list to make offers. Tons of them. Right now this month I started trying to do 400 to 500 every night. That way at the end of the month I'm not bombarded trying to get a whole bunch done. But that has been a very successful strategy for me, is doing the end and sell similar. I might try to start spreading it out, not every month, maybe every 2 months, to see if that makes a difference. But definitely take heed, eBay. Don't make changes in fourth quarter. Do what you always do that seems successful, and then I'll start playing around with promoted listing fees and when I relist, all of that stuff next year. Don't mess with fourth quarter, eBay. They changed the screens again. Did you guys notice? Just this week. I like the change, but don't mess with our stuff during fourth quarter. Plastic tree evergreens. I bought a huge tote of, some of it was Department 56, some of it was other brands, but it was all those Christmas Village stuff. These 4 trees were in there. Just seemed unique, seemed vintage. So I just listed them. I got a whole lot of lowball offers, like $10. I just kind of, there wasn't anything for me to compare it to, so I just kind of stuck with my idea that it was worth at least more than that. And I did end up getting a $18 offer, which I accepted. That Pyrex coffee pot, I showed it recently. I decided to part all of it out. I've sold several pieces already. This is just the top of the basket that was inside of it. Sold same day that I listed it, $12.95. Stuffins again. This is from the Island of Misfit Toys from 1999. This is one of the ones that's harder to find. It sold for $22.45. Levi's Selling the heck out of Levi's right now. In fact, I've sold like 3 today. A couple on eBay, a couple on Posh. These were 505 men's jeans, sold for $12, best offer. Pampered Chef. I pick up a lot of Pampered Chef at yard sales. Usually pay a couple dollars for them. Once in a while I'll get them on half price days at estate sales. This sold for $11.66. Russ, this is huge, like a pillow. It was called a Hug-a-Pet. It was a pink unicorn. Sold for $13.45. Russ, I pick them up. They're sentimental to me. I'm not quite sure why. I just love them, but most of them are bread and butter for me. This is just Honey Fits was the name on the tag. He sold for $9.86. This is Pieces and Parts. Pieces and Parts. This, I think we showed it recently in a haul. It was a Black & Decker shortcut food processor. This was just the stem blade that went inside of it. Sold within an hour of me listing, $9.95. I think I've got another piece to it further along. More M&Ms. These were 2 little Christmassy looking ones that I put together. Sold for $13.45. These next 3, I think this is a viewer, but they didn't leave me a note, so I'm going to thank Jill. Anyway, thank you for going through my store, picking out 3 more of the stuffings from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. She bought the Elf Boss for $9.86. The Charlie in a Box for $13.45. And the Elf. I couldn't come up with names for these. For $9.86. More Legos. This was the Classic King, but he was missing his sword. I bet you his sword is in just the lots that I did after I pulled out all the minifigures. I didn't take the time to look for the weapons and stuff. I probably should have. But he sold for best offer of $23. He would have sold for more like $30 if he'd had his sword. Light covers. I have found that when I pick them up, I take them off the lights. A lot of times they're older lights and I'm not sure if they're going to work, how safe they are if they are the older ones. So I've just been pulling these light covers off, and then somebody can just go buy regular lights and clip them right back on. These were just little pink flamingos with palm trees, sold for $10.25. This is House of Lloyd, which is also Christmas Around the World. His name was Pickering. He was heavy. He's been listed a while, or I think I would have put weighted in there also. 14 inches. He sold for $25.16. American Eagle women's jeans. These sold for $24.01. This is Kelly doll, which are like the small Barbies. I bought a tote of just, it had dollhouse stuff in it, Kelly stuff in it, just a whole bunch of Littlest Pet Shop, all kinds of stuff in it. I want to say I paid $10 for all of it. I just picked stuff out. This was a barnyard stable and a chicken coop that I put together. They sold for $13.45. I love listing smalls. This is the lid to the same Pyrex coffee pot. It sold for a best offer of $15. I think it took like 1 day to sell. This is Hallmark Rodney Reindeer. I talk about them a lot. They sell very well for me, between $15 and $20 for the small, like 4-inch bodies. When I measure mine, I measure the length of the body, but some people measure how wide their legs are spread out. I think people are going to understand once they see my pictures how I measured it, because everything that I list, well, in the last few years, if it's older than that, it might not, but in the last few years, I try to have one picture that's next to a tape measure. So this one was smaller than normal. He only had a 3-inch body. He sold for $13.45. Now this only sold for $8.05. The reason why I wanted to show him was I didn't have a tag on him. Google Lens did not help me find what the brand was, but I still list it. Maybe it could have sold for more if I knew what it was, but I'm happy with $8.05 for a plush I probably have a quarter in. Ben Hogan Performance Jacket. It sold for $20.41. This is Galoob. His name is Lost and Found. Koala Bear, 1989. His saving grace, which they don't sell for a whole lot, but he had his bib, so I was able to list it a little bit higher, but he was missing a bottle that also went with him. But he still sold for $15, and I don't think he was listed even a month. Hug Fun. It's another kind of, I think, quality as far as like Kelly toy. I don't pick a lot of them up unless they're cute and unique. This one was from 2017, a polka dot dog, sold for best offer of $10. These next two was one buyer. I just wanted to show you, I think these were listed at different times. I didn't combine them. Sometimes I do that. I'll end a listing and then put more stuff together, raise the price, and relist. These were rocking chairs. One was a yellow, one was brown for the Weebles, the vintage Weebles. The two rocking chairs sold for $14.36, and then they also bought the tricycle, which sold for $6.26. This is Stuffins again, but this is from the Popeye series. His name was Jeep, from 2000. He's probably the most expensive one of the plush in that series, and I took a best offer of $30 for him. This is another one of the pieces and parts to the food processor. Just the little 8-cup bowl sold for $15. This was one of the sales that is now going out under the eBay International Sales. I've been in it a couple of weeks. I am making probably daily sales on there, if not more, which I was not getting that many sales with the global shipping program, so I'm thrilled with it so far. Not been on there very long yet, so we'll see how it goes. This is Chubby Puppies. It was just the little camper, no accessories, no figures. It sold for $12. I don't normally even look at these cookie tins, but for some reason I did. And this is Williams Sonoma gingerbread shaped cookie tin, but it's empty. All it was the tin itself. Even had a little ding in it, which I put a picture of and put it in the description. Sold for $8.96. Coleman's Men long sleeve shirt sold for $14.25. This is MTY International. I think that's also Dandy. Several of them kind of are the same brand, but I always go with whatever's on the tag. This was a Christmas gray mouse, $11.66. Yeah, I picked this up for the bingo game with Courtney, or Bolo Buddies, her Ben's Bingo challenge. This was my Christmas item. It was just a little vintage Walmart nativity scene, plastic, sold almost immediately upon listing, $19.95. Different kind of shirt for us. It's rough hewn Trenton men's husky sled dog shirt. Sold for $32.11. Vintage mushroom mini crock. I think anything you can find with mushrooms on it tends to do very well. I went for the quick sell. I got a $10 offer. It wasn't listed but a couple of days. Fine with me, out the door. Picked up a huge tote full of Lincoln Logs. These were just all the bricks and house building accessories. I split it up between train tracks and figures, and I think I've sold it all. This might be the end of it. Well, I think the figures sold, but they'll be in one of my next What's Sold videos. The blocks themselves sold for $35. Now this is from one of the, I don't even know how to pronounce it, ACOC masticating juicers. We bought this one. I've got two more to still list that we bought from the bins when we went to Prison to Profit. when I took pictures, I didn't realize that this part was actually 4 pieces put together. I had planned on going and ending it and going to split it out and turn it into 4 different listings. Kind of forgot about it, and it sold. This one part, which is the container, the propeller, the net, and then just the whole thing, $62.95. This Jimmy, it's not even Halloween, after Halloween, and it sold very quickly for me. This is the big head singing skeleton. Somebody had included a universal adapter with it, so I just left it with it and had a video showing that it did work. $62.95. But my big sale right here. I think Robert did a short on this. These are vintage children's Valentine's Day cards. He thinks we bought it at this one estate sale where I bought just a whole bunch of like the die cut Christmas and Halloween stuff. I don't remember. Probably didn't have more than $1 or $2 in them, and just laid them out. A lot of them, it says 64 of them, but there was lots of them were multiples and they're just piled on top of each other. I think in my pictures I do spread them out so that you see more. But it did include just a pile of the envelopes also. Sold for full price, which means after I had ended it and did a sale similar, because it's been on here for a little while. $69.95. Gotta pick up those Valentine's Day cards. All right, so as you can see, sales have been really great for us. Very happy about that. But you know, it's coming to an end. January is usually pretty good for me also. A lot of people get gift certificates and go looking for things that they didn't get for Christmas that they still want. So January is usually pretty good, and then we'll be back to our, but that's okay. You got to remember, you know, the more you list, the more you sell. I truly believe that. The more you list, the more you sell. All right, bye.